Attention, quiet on the set. It's Tirade TV.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another hot, fresh episode of Tirade TV. Today, we're going to take a new turn. And today, on this Tuesday, day after the 4th of July, first of all, I hope everyone who celebrated 4th of July had a great 4th of July, at least a great 3-day weekend, right? Um, we're going to do something that I've been meaning to do for a while, and it's called Teaching Tuesdays. So you tune in to Tirade TV, whether it's via YouTube, or if you go download the Tirade TV podcast on Spotify. Tuesdays are going to be mainly for teaching, more so business, entrepreneur, entrepreneurship. Things that will help your businesses grow, things that will help you teach you how to start a business, how to properly run and execute a business, and just overall things that can help you, you know, build wealth. So that's what we're going to do on Tuesdays from here out. On Thursdays, I call it Thrashing Thursdays. The reason why we call it Thrashing Thursdays is because we're going to talk about other topics not pertaining to business. So, once again, Teaching Tuesdays, Thrashing Thursdays. So, right now, since it's a Tuesday, we're going to get into teaching. And one thing I want to start off with is over the past couple of years, that big thing that's been going on in this country and worldwide should have shown us one thing. If we don't get anything else out of what's happened the past 2 years, you should get that anything can happen at any given time. Not only that, we could have access to things one day and 3 days, 5 days, a week later, whatever, we may not have access to it. My son and I, back in March of 2020, was literally sitting at a basketball game. I think we went into Houston and watched the Rockets play. Everything was normally fine. Yeah, we heard, chatter about things going on overseas, that big Asian country and everything, but literally a week later, everything was shut down. So I say that just as a reminder that we can have access to things one day, and at the snap of a finger, we may not have access to it. And what I'm going to show you tonight, definitely want you all to jump on it because we need to take advantage of things while we have them, right? Give me a thumbs up if you agree with me on that. Okay, I see the thumbs up. Good, cool. Um, Now, just to get into it, like I said, we're doing Teaching Tuesdays, and actually, this episode is actually brought to you by Wealth Ascension. You can definitely find them on TikTok and on Facebook. They have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and obviously they're putting a lot of information out on TikTok. So reach out to Wealth Ascension, TikTok, and Facebook. So now let's get into Teaching Tuesday. Um, Everyone wants to start a business, has a desire to start a business, or maybe have already started a business. Some people may have started businesses 10, 20 years ago. The one thing that you may need to make a business operate and function properly is funding. And one of the ways to get funding, if you don't, have someone you can go to and say, like, hey, can you invest in my business? I need $120,000. I need $500,000. Now, if you have that, hey, more power to you. But let's be honest, most of us don't. So we have to build our own funding sources. Does that make sense? So, and the way to do that is to establish and build business credit. That's the one thing that a lot of people have been trying to do. And there's still people making so many mistakes from the very beginning. They're getting uh, creditors, lenders. denying them because of some simple mistake that they have made, or mistakes they have made in the very beginning. So what I want to do right now is just go over, getting started with business credit, business credit foundation. Now, I started working on doing this business credit thing back in 2015. So we're looking at like what, 7 years, and it's helped me out a lot in business. It's helped me finance, or actually, let's put it this way: it's helped me purchase and fund things or projects for my business or businesses. So we definitely want to make sure we take advantage of it. So, Business Credit Foundation, like I said, brought to you by Wealth Ascension. Disclaimer: have to say this. I have to say it. I'm not an attorney or a CPA. I always advise hiring your own attorney or CPA. Always do that. And you will learn not only from the beginning, but as you go, how important an attorney and or CPA, how important they're going to be. I would advise if you don't have one now, start researching and maybe calling around um, to find an attorney and or CPA even before you get your business started. But if you've already started a business, regardless of how long you've had it, a week or 10 years, if you don't have an attorney or CPA that can help you out with your business, go get one now. So with that in mind, look at this beautiful house here. Very nice, very modern, just absolutely gorgeous home. Now here's the thing. We see the beauty, we see the outside, we see the stairs on the inside, we see the architecture, we see the structure. But what we don't see is what's really holding this house together. And what's really holding this house together and keeping it together is foundation. That stuff you can't see. And it's the same thing for for business credit. You could say a marriage needs a great foundation. You could say being a parent, a family needs a great foundation. Spiritually, you need a great foundation. Um, you need it. And that's what we're going to talk about. That right there is a foundation. So before you see any home, before you see the beauty, the architecture, the type of siding or brick or stone, whatever they use, before you see the landscaping, this is what you see. This is what you have. If this is thrown off, or if this is not level, or if it's not even, if it's loose, anything, if it's not sturdy, it's gonna throw off everything. So that beautiful home that I just showed you, it would be uneven, it would be, unlevel, it would cause cracks and leaks in the roof, it would cause, the floor to be uneven, one side of the house high, the other side of the house low. And if a really bad earthquake or storm come through, it may not stand up that well. But that's what we're doing today. We're doing this. We're building a foundation for business credit. Business credit also needs a foundation. This here is part of a foundation also. This is the part you don't see at the bottom. And look how well it's held together. Everything is clean, even. The angles are everything that's supposed to be at a 90-degree angle is at a 90-degree angle. Everything you see the big bolt going through, holding the wood together, that's supposed to be that way. It's perfect. They have everything great. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, before you even get to that, you have to know what type of house you're building. You see, look at the photo here. Different types of home. You have your modern home, your regular, what you call a regular home, sitting on a perfect foundation. You have um, an uneven lot, the one in the middle, where your foundation is definitely going to have to be level with that one because the ground is uneven. Then you have mobile homes. which they kind of come with their own foundation, kind of, but you still have to make sure that that's level, right? So what type of house are you building when it comes to building a home? Same thing with business credit. First of all, what type of entity or what type of business entity do you want to establish? Now, with business entities, it's really only two that I recommend. Now, I remember back in the day when we first started learning about business entities, they talked about sole proprietorship, which is just one owner, and that owner is responsible for all the everything legally with the business. So there's no difference between business and personal; it's all intertwined. Then you have what they would call a partnership. Same thing; it's just more than one owner, but there's no difference, no division in between, no separation between personal and business, right? Those are the two that I would say stay away from. Okay. The first one we're going to look at here is probably the most popular right now, limited liability corporation, or LLC. Basically, what it is, it's a legal structure established for operation and asset protection. That's what it is. It's a legal structure. Now, first when you first apply for your LLC, one or two things going to happen. In the beginning, you will likely be taxed as a sole proprietor or a partnership. If you have a single member LLC, that means it's only one person is listed with the company. You're going to be taxed as a sole proprietor. If it's multiple people, two or more people listed on the LLC as members, it's called a multi-member LLC, and you're going to be taxed as a partnership to begin with. Doesn't have to stay out that way all the time. It can be changed, and we'll get into that later. But just the FYI, don't be surprised when you go into to the IRS website or to the IRS website and you apply for your EIN, and it asks you, hey, are you a single member or multi-member LLC? And if you select that single member, they're going to say you're going to be taxed as a sole proprietor. If you select multi-member, they're going to say you're going to be taxed as a partnership. So just keep that in the back of your mind for later down the road. We're not going to worry too much about that right now. Corporation is a legal structure established by individuals or shareholders for operation and asset protection. So this one here, kind of the same as LLC, is this one is established by individuals or shareholders for operation and asset protection. This is the second one I recommend. So only two that I recommend right now, LLC or corporation. And the reason why with those, in the future, you'll be able to completely separate your personal from business. That's what we want. We want to separate personal from business. Every time you go apply for a loan, you don't want to have to use your social security number. You want to be able to use your EIN. You want everything in the business name. Couple of things you want to get first after you get your business entity going on. Whether let's say you have an LLC, you want to have a business address. Now, it's always best to have a virtual address or an actual physical office location. Sometimes, depending on the creditor or the lender, they may be okay with with an apartment, as your business address. Now, you have to be very careful when it comes to the business addresses because Regis, which they actually do, lease offices and have virtual uh, business addresses. But sometimes, depending on the creditor or the lender, that address will be flagged. It's something about Regis that they get flagged. So if you actually have only time I would use Regis is if it's actually a physical office location. That means you actually have your office in a Regis building. That's the only time me personally I would use Regis. You can go to places like Google WeWork or Corporate Suites. They have virtual addresses and they also provide you a physical office. A good example, WeWork and Corporate Suites, both they have Also have hybrid. Hybrid basically means that you can use it as a virtual address. You can get your mail and your packages there, but you will also have access to the conference rooms. You'll also have access to private offices. They may in the package you may be able to schedule maybe the use of the conference room twice a month. That's is a good example. I've done it many times. So when you're not ready to actually invest in an actual physical office, it works. Next, you want to have a business phone. Now, the two I recommend, there are many more out there, and if you know more, leave them in the comments. But the two that's been working for me, uh, working for us and our clients is Freedom Voice. Freedom Voice is actually a business line. You can get a local number or you can get a 1-800 number. It costs anywhere from $10 to $20 a month. I know at one point it was $10 a month, but here recently I've seen a couple of people actually be charged $20 a month. And you can actually set it up too to where it can go to, you can have extensions like dial extension 1 for such and such and extension 2 for such and such, right? So that works great. You can also go through Verizon Wireless and actually just get a Verizon, cell phones and use those as business phones, business lines. That helps. Whatever works best for you, that's what I recommend. But you have to have these. You have to have a business address and you have to have a business phone because you don't have that, the chance of you getting credit or getting approved by a lender, slim to none, with none winning the race. Then, and it says here apply for EIN, but you also want to have a business email. You don't want to have a Yahoo or a Gmail, or I guess there's probably like 10 people still on earth that uses Hotmail. You don't want to have that. You want to have your name at yourbusiness.com. So if you have XYZ company, you want it to be John Doe at xyzcompany.com. That's what you want, your own domain, basically. Because there are creditors, lenders that will reject it or deny your application if they see a Gmail or a Yahoo or Hotmail or whatever. They will. But then once you have all of that done, then it's time to go and apply for your EIN. Free of charge. I remember when I uh, first started even just thinking about or looking into starting a business, people were like, yeah, you got to get an EIN. Of course, way back then, we're talking probably like 25 years ago, I didn't know exactly what it was, but I thought it was going to cost. I'm like, man, how much does that cost? Right? It's free of charge, right? And the best way to explain it is right here, as you see on the screen, it's the social security number for your business. Remember, I said earlier, when you do an LLC or a corporation, it separates your business functions from your personal functions. So when you go apply for something personally, they use your social security number. When you go apply for something for your business, they use your EIN, employer identification number. Definitely want to have that. Then once you get that, we can move on to a DUNS number. A DUNS number basically is one of the things people will look up. It tells them information, potential lenders, creditors about your business, how long you've been established, maybe what type of business you have, and it helps them to build an actual relationship with your company. Uh, just just by being able to go on Duns Bradstreet and look up your business information. Most, if not all, businesses or creditors or lenders will look up or request your DUNS number. So just remember that. And that's also free. You don't have to pay for that. Um, they'll tell you, some people will say it would take up to a whole month to get a DUNS number. It really hasn't lately. I've seen it come the next day, as soon as the next day, 24 hours. I've seen it come back a week later. I've seen it even come back 2 weeks later. but I've never seen one of these take a whole month. If it's a situation where it's been, I would say, more than a week and you haven't received it yet, then I would definitely contact Duns and Bradstreet and see what's going on. Now you want to get that web presence going. Web presence. Every day we're all on social media, whether it be TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, um, Twitter, whatever. Your business needs to be the same way. You need to always have a presence, um, a web presence. Now, first of all, you want to get a website or a web page, depending on what type of business you have. I would say, me personally, if you're doing like apparel or you selling like multiple products and services, like many, like several, I would say do maybe try your best to do a whole website. But if it's a situation where you're only selling like 3 or 4, maybe less than 10 items, I would say, or services, then I would say a web page would be okay. You don't need anything too complex to begin with. You just need to get out there, let people know who you are, and let people know about your business. So that's why I recommend Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Those 3 mainly, because especially TikTok right now. TikTok is hot right now. Now, who's to say what's gonna happen in the future? You know, People kind of talking about TikTok may not be here much longer. I have my own reasons as to why, they're trying to do away with it, but you can catch that in another one of my videos. But Instagram seems to be doing pretty well right now. Facebook, you always want to have Facebook. If I had to rank them in order of importance, I would say TikTok, then Instagram, then Facebook. Even though Instagram and Facebook is kind of the same, maybe, but TikTok's definitely first. Then you want to list your business out there. You want to enroll your business with Yelp, Google, Manta, 411. So when someone Googles your business or goes in any kind of uh, search engine and looks for your business information to come up. And what it should show is your business name, address, phone number, maybe even a website or an email. That's what it should show. It lets the lenders know that you are a legitimate business and they can find you. So definitely want to make sure that this is super important. So many people I've spoken to, I've worked with, have gotten applications denied because, they didn't have a web presence, or they used a Gmail as an email, or they, couldn't be found on 411 or Yelp or whatever. It made it look like that they're not a legitimate business. And I'm be honest with you. Most creditors, lenders, those who you're seeking business relationships with or partnerships with, look at it this way. This is the way I look at it. They're looking for a reason to say no. They're looking for a reason to deny your application. Don't give them a reason. And if it is a reason, don't let it be something as simple as this: not having a web presence, or not having a legitimate business email, or business phone number, or business address. Don't let it be for those reasons, because those are like, that those something that it's very simple to do. I'm not going to say always easy, but definitely simple, right? Um, that's where we're at right now. So we got to have that. Then you want to freeze your personal credit report. Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Um, the reason for that is earlier on in the process when you applying for a credit, some of them, and you want it to be just in your business name, sometimes they will still ask you for your name and your social. Now, if your social, or if your credit report is frozen, give them your social, because they're not going to be able to do anything. That's just my opinion. They're not going to be able to do anything if your credit report is frozen. All they would have is the EIN. Like, they will ask for both EIN and Social Security. They'll be able to do a search on the EIN but they won't be able to do anything on your social security number because it's frozen. Then once you do that, now it's time to start applying. So I'm going to give you 5 Net 30 accounts to apply for immediately. As soon as you get all these other things established, make sure you apply for these 5 immediately. First of all, we have Quill. Quill, Uline, and Granger, I have them bracketed off because those are Net 30 accounts where you basically have to order supplies from them. Generally, in most cases, I've seen different, but in most cases, you would have to order a minimum of $100 from each company each month from anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Like I remember several years ago, once you hit that 3-month mark, boom, you're in there. Recently, I guess Quill, Uline, and Granger, they're kind of catching on a little bit. So they're making some businesses wait a little longer. They're making some businesses order their 4th month or their 5th month or their 6th month. But regardless, 3 to 6 months, minimum $100 each order with each company. Excuse me. Once you do that, you should be good with them. You would have Net 30 counts established with them. Now, of course, it's going to be due every month. That's why they call it Net 30. Make sure you pay them off. And once you get established with them, I would say you don't have to order all the time, but make sure you do go back and order occasionally. Nav. Now, Nav is something that will help you out with your personal credit and your business credit for about, I think it's $35, maybe $39 per month. They'll give you access to your personal credit report and your business credit report, right? Or business credit scores. We mainly want it for the business, even though the personal, yeah, it's helpful too. It'll let you know where you stand. And that helps because most businesses, when they first start obtaining business credit, they're not really for sure where they stand. So definitely invest in that. And it also reports as another, I guess you can say another account, right? So you have 5 here. I'm showing you: Quill, Uline, and Granger, Nav, and Pilot Flying J. Now, especially these days, the way gas prices are, diesel prices are, you have a lot of people out here in the trucking business, or even if you're just not in the trucking business, but you have business vehicles, cars, whatever. Gas is huge right now. Apply for Pilot Flying J. They're probably one of the easiest fuel cars to get. Sometimes it can be a Net 7 with them. It could be a Net 30, whatever. But you make sure, you have to definitely pay them back, whatever it is. If it's Net 7, you got to pay them back within a week. Obviously, if it's Net 30, you have to pay them back within that month. Make sure you pay all of these on time, so they will keep reporting. That's the bare minimum I would say you need in order to obtain business credit. 5 trade lines: Quill, Uline, Granger, Nav, Pilot Flying J. Those, I mean, that you're golden. Once you get to that point, it's just a start. But this here is basically what cracks the door open for you. And that's pretty much it on that. Now there's some other trade lines you can get, I would say maybe simultaneously with these, or maybe a little after, but stay tuned to the next video, the next podcast. I'll get into those. But right now, that's what you need, those 5 trade lines, and you're on your way. Once again, if you have any questions about it, reach out to Wealth Ascension on TikTok and on Facebook, and she'll definitely walk you through. She definitely have programs where she can actually show you how to do it, or she can do it for you. If you have any questions, please reach out to him. Also, remember this: As I said earlier, in the very beginning, everything we have access to now, we may not have access to, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. We may not have access to it. Take advantage of it right now while we still can. Make sure you get your business up and going, because I'm going to tell you this. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter what side of town you live on, whatever, doesn't matter what state, doesn't matter your political affiliation. No one cares about your business the way you do. If you have a business and you're booming and you go out of business tomorrow, no one's going to care about that. No one. Remember that. So take care of your business, handle your business, and it starts right here with Business Credit Foundation. See you.
I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.